It's just that his memory's not there. You take your coat and hat off now. And it's a shame because he's had some good memories. That's the condition. Oh, it's dementia. They think a lot of you, don't they, in Ireland?
No idea.
This has been made, and there's an interesting picture at
Big Jack's skillful management has them on their way to the World Cup finals in America next month and on the road to big money. Cleverly plucked from both sides of the Irish Sea. In front of an adoring crowd of thousands here in Dublin, Big Jack received a scroll certifying he's a free man of the city and a special piece of Waterford crystal bearing his portrait.
You saw in the film, you saw what Big Jack was like compared to what Big Jack was like in his heyday and in his pomp. You know, Big Jack in his heyday, Neil, was confident. He could be bloody minded. He could be funny. He could be everything all in a 24-hour period. But he was in control, and he was a man that looked like he was in control and acted like he was in control. When you then start to live with loved ones suffering with this awful illness, it strips you of all of those traits and all of the personality that you once were. It's like shedding skin. It strips you of it all.
Ramsey, our admiration and our thanks. Remember, 3.5 years ago, he said, we will win the cup in
England versus Wales in 1966. Jeff Hurst centres and Jackie heads the ball into the net. Final score, England 5, Wales 1. Jackie again at the FA Cup final between Leeds and Chelsea in 1970. Alva to mark the event.
Those footballs were like medicine balls, literally. You know, in the middle of an English winter. I mean, I've got pictures of him when he was at Charlton playing at the Valley, and there ain't a piece of grass to be seen on the field, and the ball looks like something that Mike Tyson would have thrown around when he was at his very best. You know what I mean? Training for a world title fight. So, and I used to say to him, about it, and he used to say, literally, some days you'd be heading balls, and as it's coming towards you, you'd head it, you catch the laces on your forehead as well, and for 30 seconds you couldn't see straight. You know, you literally, you know, you could hardly focus.
There were 35,000 present when West Bromwich Albion were at home to Charlton, and cup tie fever was very much in evidence. West Brom in striped shirts were followed onto the field by the visitors from the south. From the kick-off, the home team promptly went into the attack.
Charlton in black shorts are at home to Arsenal. Charlton have to fight like tigers in their own goal mouth. A lucky escape for the home boys.
We're not seeing any studies that say that heading balls is good for you. I mean, I've yet to see anything like that. The evidence is all pointing in one direction. Do we have a conclusive link between playing football or heading footballs and neurodegeneration? No, we don't have a conclusive link. But I liken this very much to the old smoking debate when, you know, for years and years and years, tobacco companies were saying there's no direct link. It took many years to find that direct link. Just heading a ball, one does not get a concussion. yet the brain is still wobbling around inside the cranium. There's still a little bit of damage that goes on, and it's that damage over years of heading the ball that creates the neurodegeneration that we're talking about. I think we're moving too slowly. I think there's a lot more that could be done. I think that particularly in the area of funding research, I think there's an awful lot more that could be done. We are looking at training. There are a lot of discussions around that, but I think we need to move beyond the idea of guidelines that could or could not be followed to maybe looking at changing some of the rules of the game, particularly for young kids, so they're not heading balls. I would be in favor of it. But I fully recognize that more work needs to be done before we could come out with those types of statements. But yeah, definitely, I wouldn't be sorry to see heading the game go.